So make sure, when you're in the interview that, if you're not comfortable answering a question that relates to this, that's perfectly okay, because you have a right to, by law. Also, you want to make sure, there's another thing too, for your resumes, who of you have got your date of birth on your resume? Some of you? Okay, go home tonight, delete that, okay? If you have anything about, that you're single or whatever, or anything to do with culture, delete that from your resume. Take off your photos as well, because this is opening yourself up to discrimination, even though the law is there. So make sure, when you're writing a resume, that you keep it focused on just the job itself and your skill set, okay? Because then that will reduce any kind of barriers that come up when you are in the job interview as well. Now, dress is really important when you're going into an interview. Now, who of you, all the gentlemen in here, who owns a black pair of pants? Good, okay. Who owns a white long sleeve shirt? Congratulations. Okay, that's the first step to looking professional when you're going into a job. Now, it doesn't matter if you are going for, a casual job or a part-time job. Make sure that you look pristine and really professionally presented. So make sure you ask your mothers to iron your shirt, or if you're a clever cookie, iron it yourself. Who has a nice pair of black shoes? Yeah? Yeah? Have you polished your shoes today? No? Okay. More homework for you. So make sure you polish your shoes, because employers quality employers will be looking for these little finer details to show that, yes, you can represent the company positively. Now, I once had a gentleman who came to an interview with me to be a tutor, and he rolled up with his shorts and t-shirt and his cap backwards. Now, what do you think I did? Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm like, see you later. I pretty much gave him 5 minutes of my time, and then I sent him away. Because I thought to myself, okay, my tutors need to be really, well presented in front of our students. And so if they can't present well in front of me, they cannot be a representative to the company. Let me see, for the ladies, now, do you have a black skirt? Yep. Yeah? Is your black skirt just about your knees? Yeah? Okay. So, the ladies who've got mini skirts, that can't be going to the interview, make sure you buy yourself a new one. Have you got a collared shirt? Yep. Yeah? A t-shirt shirt? Yeah? Or have you got a simple black dress, which is not shoestring, it's actually like sort of covered on the shoulder? Okay. These are quite appropriate. Have you got a black pair of shoes?
School shoes.
Yeah? No, not school shoes. Have you got a pair of high-heeled shoes, closed high-heeled shoes? Yeah? Okay, that's really important, because you've got to make sure, women, that you need to be looking feminine, but also professionally presented. So you can't go to an interview wearing, stilettos with your peak toes on it, okay? So make sure you think from an employer's perspective. And you know what you could do? You could walk into the place where you want to work and just check out the other staff, see what they usually wear. Some places will have a uniform, whereas others may just have sort of casual professional wear. So make sure you try to match it. Now, I had a tutor who came in a few months ago, and do you know what she did, and I thought was so fantastic? She walked into my workplace wearing a black dress, similar to this, and she had a scarf around her waist. Now, what do you think that made me think when I saw that? She is tops, because she did her research, didn't she? She thought about, okay, what does the team usually wear, and how can I turn the director's mind and quickly, take it by attention? So, straight away, that attention to detail, sorry, and the ability to, match what we look like as a team was so positive. And, I kept her in the office for maybe 45 minutes, and I got to know her personally, and I hired her on the spot. So, being really thoughtful when you go to an interview and getting to know who you're interviewing with is a really positive step. That's in contrast to someone who I interviewed in Melbourne 2 weeks ago, who rolled up in a hoodie. Can you believe it? A lady rolled up in a hoodie and she brought her child to the interview. What do you think I was thinking? I was thinking, this is a bit disrespectful. So that's why you've got to, pay attention to, where you are and how you present yourself, because you want to make sure that you are liked straight away by the interviewer. Has anyone else had an experience like that or seen that before? Yeah. What's your experience?
Oh, no. I was seeing someone walking to an interview with a red box.
Really? They didn't tie them back?
What your brother?
Would you be insulted if you're an employer, if you saw that?
No.
No? Unless you're surfing, maybe Bintane's okay. Yeah, have you had experience?
Oh, no, I was just wondering, is it discrimination if the employer goes, oh, you're wearing them and then they don't wear you because you don't look presentable?
No, that's not discrimination. Discrimination is based on personal characteristics. It's something that you can't change about the person. So, if, take for example, if you're hiring someone for an office job and the etiquette of the workplace is a suit, and someone rolls up in boardies and thongs and singlet or a Bintang shirt, do you think they would be hired?
No.
Probably not. Hey, no. Outside of work hours, it's fine, but not in the workplace. So you got to think carefully about how you look in front, because remember, the employer is making a judgment of you within a few seconds. So remember, you've got to make sure you shake their hand, say, hello, my name is whoever, nice to meet you, and make sure that your appearance is really professional from the beginning. Okay? Any other questions about appearance? No, everyone's cool, so you guys should be pretty good. Yes? Can you wear school uniform? I wouldn't, no.
That's
No,
smart.
I would take the time to come in a nice pair of pants and a nice shirt.
That's smart though.
Yep. Any other questions?
That's smart.
No? Okay. So let's move on. Oh, and the other thing too, I was going to say, is you could add a little bit of colour to your outfit. So who in here has the colour red as a favourite colour? Yeah, some of you, yeah? Who likes blue? Yeah? Okay. So wear a colour that matches your personality as well, because that can say a lot to an employer. So I'll give you an example. I love red. The reason I love red is because it's a really passionate colour, and it defines my leadership sort of nature. So straight away, if I want to indicate to an employer that I have the natural ability to be a leader, I'll wear red. Whereas if I'm more a peacemaker or a bit more relaxed, maybe a little bit of yellow, things like that. So think about, what colours represent about you. It says a lot. Okay, now, with interviews, who gets really nervous before going to an interview? Yeah? Yep. Okay, so have you guys thought about how you would combat that initial nervousness before an interview? Have you ever thought of sitting in the car with some loud music, singing at the top of your lungs? Yeah.
I do that
You should
every
try it.
day.
You should really try it. Like, I used to do that. And actually, I do that myself now. So on my way coming here, to prep myself to be in front of you today, I was singing some really loud music. Because what that does is that warms up your vocals, and it relaxes you, and it puts you into a really good mood on the way to an interview. Because the worst thing that can happen in an interview is when you get too nervous that you cannot actually, perform at your best. So think of ways of how you can put yourself in the most relaxed position, and in a position that you can, present yourself in the most accurate manner. So making, practice makes perfect. So have you thought about rehearsing some answers to questions which you might have in an interview? So for example, if someone asks you, what is your long-term career goal? Think about, what are you going to say? Think about, what is your education desire? What is your dream job? And how would you say that in a really relaxed manner to the manager that you're recruiting with? Also, you may like to record yourself. So, for example, have a friend in the room with you, get them to be the interviewer and record it, and then look back and watch and look at yourself in a video. Just like, when you record yourself on YouTube and you watch those videos, think about what you could have done better in an interview. Because it's really important. Like, you've got to be confident as a job seeker, because you are competing against so many other people. So always record yourself as much as you can. And I'm sure most of you probably got your phones in you right now. Would that be right?
Yep.
Yep, okay. So this is some of your homework tonight, to record yourself speaking and look for what you do good and what you do bad. Also, now we're talking about company research. Now, company research is really, really important because when you go into an interview, an employer's going to want to know why you're wanting to work with them. So, do any of you ever go onto the company websites and look at the About Us section? Have you ever done that before? Yeah. Okay, that's something you should do for your next job interview. You should also go to the section if it's got, say, mission, or what are our values, because as I said before, a good company will recruit on character and they will train skill. So you want to be able to see what does the company stand for, and is this the right employer for you, or can you match their particular values, things like that. Also, if you can get the name of the person who you are going to be interviewed by and do your little Googling on them, that's a good thing, because you want to be able to have some background information on who they are, what they do, how they think, because then that will help you in the interview to be able to adapt to the situation. Because it's really embarrassing if you don't know anything about someone's background and you ask them a silly question. Has it ever happened before? Yeah? Okay, so that's why you should try to know who you're going to be interviewing with. Also, like company Facebook pages, if you want to demonstrate that you're really up to date with the company, like the Facebook page for the company and see what events they've been doing, and then discuss that maybe just briefly in the interview, because it'll show that you are interested in the company, that you've watched what they're doing, and you want to be a part of that, because it doesn't matter what kind of job it is, whether you're doing 2 hours a week or 15 hours a week. If you show passion for the company, you're more likely going to be hired than someone who's just got a string of qualifications and that's it. So make sure you have the ability in an interview to really demonstrate that you're serious and you want to be a part of it. What else? So the question could be, why do you want to work here? Now, one thing you must not say, I think, in an interview is because I want to earn a little bit of money while I'm at school. Have you ever said that before? Okay, don't say that. Just take your mind off the financial side and say things relating to the job itself. Because a good employer does not want to hire someone who is all about the money. They want to hire someone who is, wanting to be with the job and wanting to grow with the company. So, I'll give an example. I had a tutor the other day. They didn't even submit their resume. They just rang me and they said, I want to work with you. What's your pay rate? Now, how do you think I felt straight away?
Go away.
No, they were a complete write-off. And I didn't care whether they were more qualified than me. If they have the wrong attitude and motivation, and they talk about, the financial side straight up, that puts me off as an employer. So make sure when you are in an interview to try to avoid that. Because if you get the job, the employer is definitely going to tell you the rate of pay anyway. So just focus on getting through the interview in a really personal manner, which shows that you are passionate about the job. Okay, now, before the interview, make it a rule of thumb that you arrive at least 10 minutes early so that you're not stressed out. Have you ever been to an interview before where you couldn't find the location and you were really frazzled? Yeah? Okay, so that's what you want to avoid, because you want to show the employer that you have good time management skills. So make sure you turn up about 10 minutes earlier. It's also good for you to maybe, with your mum and dad, to drive around the location so that you know the area as well prior to going to the interview. Okay. Make sure you know the employer's or the interviewer's name. So what you can do is you can just ring up the company and maybe the day before and introduce yourself, and then just double check, make sure you got the right person's name, because you must be aware that employers are really looking for a good impression right from the start. So someone last week applied to me and they said, "Dear sir." Dear sir, right? They thought I was a guy. And how do you think that made me feel as an employer? I was like, no, you're a writer. No chance, epic fail. So that particular person did not have a chance to me. Yes? It comes down to doing company research. So That's why you need to find out whether it's a male or female you are going for. What else? If there is a team of recruiters, then you may say, dear human resources or dear recruitment team, something like that. Keep it general. But if you judge someone and think that it's going to be a man straight away as a director, it's quite a laugh. Another thing is, if you see a person's name and it's a female name, and someone says "Dear Sir," isn't that just stupid? So you've got to be a bit smart in the recruitment process to make sure that you show that you're a thoughtful person. What else? If you are running behind schedule, so say you're going to be late to the interview, you must call and make sure the employer knows that you are running late, because there's nothing more rude than not actually notifying them or not turning up for an interview. So make sure you show courtesy to an employer right from the very beginning. And also make sure you bring your resume as well, because it's important for you to show that you're an organised person right from the very start. With the interviews as well, for example, after you do an interview, I think it's really nice if you send an email to the recruiter, so get their email address and just thank them for their time. Because, it's the little things that really stick in the minds of employees. So I love it when someone sends me an email and says, thank you so much for the opportunity to interview with you. I would be excited to join your organisation, things like that. Because you want to show that you're really dedicated, and that, if you can treat the director with the same courtesy, or the recruitment manager the same courtesy, that you can show that to the customers of the business. So always make sure that you are thoughtful in your actions before and after the interview process. So we were talking about before what questions you can ask. So, for example, if you're not sure of an answer to a question, you can always clarify. So, for example, if you want to, be working, Monday to Thursday during, after school hours, but the person says to you, the time is different, just clarify, ask some questions, because you want to show that yes, you are interested, and, yes, you have been listening as well, but you just want to make sure. So those little things can really, really make a difference in an interview sense. And also make sure you come prepared to an interview. So make sure you have a notebook and a pen in your bag. Maybe here's something you might consider is have any of you got a business card? Yeah, you got a business card. Yeah. That's awesome. No, really.
Actually, legit.
That's good. Yeah. You guys should have a business card. Do you know why? Because if you're out in public,
my dad put me onto it. So.
He put you onto it?
Yeah.
Your dad is a legend, right? Okay, business card is going to be for you to leave your details with the employer, because you never know if you are going to meet someone who's hiring, and if you want to give their details to them in a professional manner, you give them a little business card. So think about that. You don't need to be the company owner to have a business card. You can be a job seeker and have one too. So there's a little trend for you. And then obviously ask other questions at the end of the interview, because at the end of the day, you want to show that you are really interested. So don't come to the interview and, say you've got no questions. Make up some questions before you come. Okay, I think that's my cue call. But thank you so much, everyone. Very much.